Today, y'all, I'm going over the Scary Baboon lore. This is just my lore, you know. This is just the one I came up with. There's other ones, but you know, this is just the one I made. So, you know, sit back, grab some popcorn, and relax. Also, before this begins, like and subscribe. They're easy videos, and especially because the last bit of videos have been doing very poorly. So, you know, I need to like and subscribe. Please. So, for Scary Baboon, what is the lore here? Obviously, we're in a facility of some kind. You know, and obviously, we are monkeys getting chased by other, more enhanced monkeys. There's also a bunch of goo everywhere, and a whole bunch of safe zones with doors on them to protect yourself from monsters. That's really what we need to know. So, the best guess I can give to what this facility is that we are in, it's likely a laboratory where they experimented on different weapons of all sorts. There might have been a war going on and they're just experimenting on weapons and seeing what they can use in war. It's probably an important piece in this laboratory. All over the laboratory there's a bunch of black goo. Even one of the monsters is just completely black goo. My best guess is we're laboratory scientists, monkeys, whatever, and we're experimenting on weapons. We're just trying to make weapons make us stronger, you know, in war and stuff. And we're experimenting with this black goop. This goop, it was supposed to make us stronger. So likely there were cells containing the goop. And my best guess is the goop got out due to some idiot scientist's dumb sort of problem. And because this one scientist, the goop got all over the place. And there was just goop all over the building. They eventually managed to contain the goop. But the goop had already spread across the building. So, and then all of a sudden this monster appeared, and then like, here's my guess. Here's my guess. So this monster, I'm gonna say it was the goop, but this time, I'm gonna say here's what I think the lore of the monster is. Monsters are literally just the goop, but the goop is literally just like eating the monkeys, and he eats their skin, and then it becomes more like the monkey. That's why the black goop monster is entirely goop, because he's not fully evolved yet. The more monkeys he eat, the more these things evolve. And that's where the new monster comes in, because he's probably eaten a lot of monkeys. So they mutate and evolve into killing machines, and then all of a sudden this random monster showed up because scientists have been going missing, and this monster shows up and he's pretty much just been eating these scientists. So in order to stay safe from this new goop monster, they had to install a whole bunch of red emergency systems, lockdowns, and a whole bunch of safe rooms. They thought that would be enough, but eventually the goop got way more out of hand and started spreading because they were in the sewer system of the thing. We have all these levels here. They were in the sewer system and the mines and the caves. They're all down in the below system. These monsters eventually started overrunning the facility, and they started eating tons and tons of scientists, and they just kept sending in more scientists because they didn't really care about the goop monsters. Eventually, these things just ate so many scientists that they started evolving into like uncanny beings. The monster with all the heads, the new one, that thing ate way too many and now is like a big chunky monkey. Eventually, the scientists started to get overrun, and they started building expansions onto the thing in case, you know, of emergency. Because the place started to get overrun, and they started leaving out bait. See that meat over there? They started trying to leave out bait for the monsters, but probably didn't even work. Eventually, the scientists were getting overrun, and these doors were just not working anymore. They would not keep them safe. There were just too many of these beastie things. So eventually, they had to start going outside to be safe, in the middle of the forest. But some of the goop managed to sneak out too. That's where the winter forest comes in. The goop managed to sneak into the winter forest, and now it is outside, which is not very good. And the goop has evolved to infect monkeys now. So the ones you see in here are infected by the goop. Eventually, one of the monkeys had goop all over his leg. They didn't know what it was, so they airlifted him to the hospital. Then the goop spread to the doctors, and now they're all in the hospital. And those monkeys also ate more. So that's basically just the rundown of the Scary Baboon lore. You know, it's not too insane, but you know, just a fun little concept. Please like and subscribe. Stick a little make. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed. I was literally just running down the lore. Just thought I'd put a spin onto this, you know? So yeah. Goodbye guys.